So we're on to it with the Battle of Shanghai, 1937. And here's what we got going on. Blue and black are Chinese. Red on white are Japanese. And I've already went through the first, what's called operations phase. In this game, you'll have an operations phase for the Chinese, then a reinforcements phase, and a second operations phase. And before you do that, any operations, you have to announce what you're going to do in each operations phase. Are you going to attack in the or fight in the first one and move in a second? You can go fight, fight, move, 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 fight, fight, move, whatever one you want to do. That's kind of the little idiosyncrasies of this game. But on my first Chinese move, I announced in my first operations I was going to move. In second operations, I was going to fight. So I moved. This unit here was I think it was one of these units. It was on the coast. I moved on up. Then in my next operations phase, I don't think the Chinese player had any reinforcements. He might have. I'm not sure. But we had the reinforcement phase. Hold on a second. And then we had the attack phase. So my attack consisted of units from here to here and across the river here. Or rather here and then across the river here. These guys all had to go across the river. I think it was maybe 3 stacks. I think it might only been these 3. 1, 2, and 3. They commenced to attack and I lost I thought it was 2 steps for the Chinese and 1 step for the Japanese. I know I flipped this guy over. I did lose a unit, but he was only a 1-stepper. So I'm not sure really. Let me look around here. Find out. No, he's a 1-step too, so yeah, I guess I was only a 1-1 result. This guy here had to get flipped. So there we go. Another thing is you could have support in that attack. I supported it with all my infantry or artillery, but he came back. He had just 1 gunboat. You could only commit 1 support of a type. So his 1 type was this. Now the Japanese player has naval, air, and artillery, whereas the Chinese player only has artillery. The air was no match against the Japanese. But when the Japanese would launch attacks, we do get to do a little bit of an interdiction. But there we go. The first turn was kind of quiet. It was weird. I had to look underneath the history of this to find out what these Japanese units were already doing there. I don't know if they were like protecting the Japanese assets when hostilities broke out or what, but there was a couple of with naval infantry in there, and that's what those guys are. And then you got your regular Shanghai garrison. Not a bad garrison. But so then I wanted to have another attack using these units. But when you cross the river, you can only attack with 1/3 of the force. And that knocked it down. This attack would have been a 1-2. I didn't feel like taking those. This was at least I thought it was a 2-1 or a 1-1. I guess it was a 1-1 when I got done with all this. Knocked him down 1 step and lost me a step in a unit, so it really was an advantage for the Chinese player. And I did not want to make the same mistake twice, especially at lower odds, well, a 2-1 or a 1-2. So that is it. It is the Japanese player's turn. He got himself some reinforcements. I can't remember what it was. It must be I think it was just a naval unit. Oh, here you go. It's turn number 1. You can see them up there. The numbers up there in the corner. So he'll get himself a little bit more Marines and a naval unit. And I got to find out where to bring him on at. He's got to go on one of these blue hexes or blue arrow hexes because that represents amphibious landing. Don't want to bring him down here. Cut these guys off. Bring them on here. Reinforce. That's one thing I was thinking about today is cutting these units off. I need to occupy this hex and build these hexes up to where nobody can get to them because they're going to try to rescue these guys. You have some sudden death victory conditions. If I can get the Chinese player to capture this hex, sudden victory, game over. Or Japanese player wins, sudden death victory, if the Chinese player has no units next to this hex. So the battle's on. A lot of reinforcements coming. We'll see what's up. Now, on my tag on Shanghai, I committed some artillery, but he was able to get himself some naval units up there, so I had one column shift to the right, which would help me, but he got one column shift to the left. The only units that can column shift defensively are naval units, so Chinese players up against it. We'll see what's up. Reinforcements coming. Some tells me this is going to be a slugfest, but I think we're only going to be using this part of the big map. Our Nanking is way up there, so I don't know. We'll have to see what's up. 12 turns. We're on it and enjoying us some strategy and tactics. Battle of Shanghai. So far, I'm going through one turn, and the mechanics are fine. And it's more of a simple game. You ain't got to have too many rules. I read all the rules already, and they got a different way of doing things. You know, makes it unique. But yeah, one thing that they do have, I want to make sure I show you, is the old. Oh, you're kidding me. Where is it? All right. Chinese player turns to the turn sequence. They get the first operations phase. Then you always bring in the reinforcements. Then you get your second operations phase. During that first and second, you have to announce what you're going to do in those two phases. Fight, move. Move and fight. Move and move. Or fight and fight. Like I said earlier, on this one, I chose move and fight. Move in my first operations phase. I get it from here to here. There were 2 units here. Then the fight. And when the attack failed, this attack I declined. So we're on a Japanese player, figuring out what these reinforcements are coming in at. So far there's only 2 of them, but these shores are going to get busy here real quick. Real quick. So I'm going to see, I don't know if I need to come in here. Like I said, Japanese player needs to get these guys out of here. All of them. So, told you about the victory conditions. We'll be back.